Everybody's familiar with this. This is a mop which cleans the windows, squeegee that pulls the water off. What the water-fed pole does is actually replaces the squeegee. So we still scrub the window, but instead of pulling the squeegee on very high places, we actually rinse it with what's called deionized water. And that actually pulls off all the soap, all the crud, and leaves a nice clean window. And it also doesn't leave water spots. And we'll have to visualize a little bit, but there's several parts of it. The first part at the top, this is the building we've cleaned. This is our first water-fed pole project. It's for a property manager. She has 3 buildings like this, and this is probably our, again, she's been with me since the beginning. And what's neat is, if you look at this building, there's no place to put a ladder. You can't put a ladder on any glass or anything like that. So if we didn't use water-fed poles, we'd probably have to rent a lift or a bucket truck and probably double the size of the cost. So this might, if we had to rent a bucket truck or lift, this might be a $1,200, $1,300 job. With a water-fed pole, it's about $500. So it gives us out. This is the brush that goes on top. I'll go into a little detail later. So we brush it, and then actually after we're done brushing it, we actually rinse it. There's some holes in here, and they're jets. And these jets spew out the deionized water and let it flow down. So that's the way we clean windows. So let me go down a little bit. It's funny, when I started fish, water-fed pole, that was cutting edge, people were unsure about it. Oh, it really doesn't do the job. Now everybody and their brother has one. Even the little Joe Bob window and bait and tackle, they even have water-fed poles. There's an economical version. We use them in commercial buildings, residential. There's actually a couple of fish franchisees that use those instead of ladders on houses. I haven't gotten really brave yet. I still use it on, for houses, I may use it on something that's very high where we can't get a ladder. There's safety. So that's one way we might do. Another application is for solar panels. We use it for awnings quite a bit. We did some elevator cleanings actually with glass elevators we cleaned with a water-fed pole. The water-fed pole has been very popular in Europe. They have very, very strict safety and workers' comp standards in Europe. So almost nobody in Europe uses a ladder anymore. It's all done from the ground. All the work is done from the ground. In fact, London is sort of ground zero for water-fed poles. That's where a lot of the DI tanks, the technology is developed, and still has heavy vendors today. As far as the U.S. goes, workers' comp is driving these. So anything you can do to get your guys' feet on the ground, you want to do it. The cost, let's say, for my off-site services, the rate for insurance for my off-ground services are 5 times what they are for standing on your feet. So, I mean, with the amount of business I could do, that could make a difference with $10,000 a year in liability insurance. So it is a big deal. Okay. The next part, just the components of purification systems. This is important because if you do not have clean water, you'll leave spots all over the window. We've had a couple of jobs where the guys got a little aggressive. They didn't change the tank out. You got to visit them again. And it looks great when it's there, but if you leave it, it'll turn. This is a DI tank. It's actually a really neat little thing I used to use. It's a throwaway tank. When it comes to you, it's blue. And that blue is resin, and it's charged, opposite, alternate charge, positive, negative. And it pulls the particles out of the water, and this side is actually pure. One of my guys drank out of this. I don't recommend that. He says the best water he's ever had. Anyway, told him never do that again. But now I've gone to a cartridge. This becomes sort of economically infeasible for the amount of water you did. So this is what's called a little TDS meter. It measures your water, the amount of particles that are in your water. When we use a water pole, we want to be below 10 parts per million. Georgia itself was very lucky. We have very soft water. Other parts of the country, they deal in what's called, Illinois is 200 parts per million. Very hard water. So we're very lucky in the South to be able to do that. So. The next part is actually the pole. I think I brought one pole. There's one's called Carbon Tech. It's actually carbon fiber. Oh, thank you. Carbon Tech, where you build the pole. You actually screw the components in, and they have a new pole. It's telescopic. It's sort of PVC material. You actually sort of use it like a telescope. It allows the cleaner to, go from the third story down to the second story. Brushes, you have nylon, which I showed you. Very good for a lot of glass and frames. And boar's hair, which is really good for dirty windows. You can really, bad thing about boar's hair is very heavy. It's like having about 8 big beach towels on the top of a 50-foot stick, so it can be very unwieldy. These are a couple of things applications we've done. AMC Theater, you can see them at the bottom. Pretty neat little thing. The next one is residential. This isn't mine, I just pulled this off the internet, but we do a lot of this, especially with this type of window. Especially when, like I said, the ground is not level or we can't get a ladder there. Sometimes over ledges, it's really good. And then the last one, this is a solar panel. This is actually our Colorado group. This is the largest single contract at Fish. It was for $250,000. And just to put it in perspective, I don't know if you guys can see, but probably the amount of solar panels I clean may cover where my thumb is in that top left corner. Maybe where that is. I've done about 1/1,000,000th of that size. So. But this one's really wild too, because actually they had to do it while the solar panel was active. So they had to be grounded. So it's pretty complex. Most of mine are the ones we've done are for homes where you can just shut off the power and you're good to go. That continues to be a big application. A good referral for me to do this again is commercial, especially buildings. Third story, fourth story homes, again, where we have really high windows over difficult terrain, or, again, commercial retail. So I'm Greg with Fish. Thank you for your time.